Head inside single, chase the ankle. To do this technique, you have to do 5 things right. Here we go. I got an inside tie, collar tie. I drop my right hand down off the collar tie and I come right here to an elbow bind. Take 1 step. Here's our setup. 1 step to the side. Throw the arm on my back, right to a head inside single. All right, he sprawls and goes to both knees. Here. That's what we're going to get to. The very first thing of the 5, all right, got to do 5 things right, is I have to be elbow deep. So here we go. Number 1, when I hit the shot, I have to be elbow deep. I have to be elbow deep right here. Cannot stress that enough. There cannot be any space between the bend of my elbow and the bend of his knee. Have to be elbow deep. You're going to see why here in a minute. That's number 1. Number 2, he's going to sprawl. Why? It's what the stud does. When he goes to sprawl, I'm going to pull in and down. So number one, I hit the angle knee drop, I'm elbow deep. He goes to sprawl, I pull in and down. I want his knee to land right beside my knee. If his knee's back here, I'm extended, he's going to win. Number 3, I come off my knee and I drive right there to my right elbow. That right there stops him from squaring up. Number 4, I circle, also on number 3, right hip is lower than left. Right hip, lower than left. It will stay that way throughout the whole move. Number 4, I circle, right hip stays lower. I step all the way over and put my knee right behind my elbow. Number 5, unlock my hands. Outside hand stays above the knee. I change level. We call it a head inside, chase the ankle. We chase that far knee, and we drive. Again, number 1, we'll do it from a different angle. Number 1, elbow deep. 2, pull in and down. 3, all the weights on my elbow, right hip's lower. 4, step over. 5, change levels. Always fight to stay under his butt and chase that far knee. My hip is going towards his head. Right hand comes right down underneath his butt cheek on his hamstring. Now guys, this is what high school guys and college guys cannot figure out, this next step. This is the whole key. I want to get an angle. Here's an angle. All right? Right now, is this an angle? It's an angle, it's just the wrong angle. Is this an angle? It's not an angle. This is the angle I want you guys to get right here. And there's only one way to do that. When he's in on my leg, here, I'm sprawling, I got the tight waist, right hand to his butt cheek. My right foot steps up. Now I want you guys to watch. My left knee's in that direction right there. I'm going to windshield wiper, knees going to stay right in the same hole in the mat. I'm just going to windshield wiper my foot, and I'm going to change direction. Now I've got the angle, now I can bring my hips in. This is what guys cannot figure out. Here, head down, hip in, feet go back. Here, right foot's already stepped up. Right hand goes right below his butt cheek. Hey, is this tight? No, not tight off, but I promise you, it's going to get tight when I do this right here. Here, I look across his back, and then I drive in here. Can you move, Hayden? Cannot move. From here, I step over. Guys, you know you're doing it right when it feels like your arm gets trapped. We score a ton off a head inside single. We score so many takedowns with that right there. But the whole goal is, so what if I don't score? My goal is to stop him from getting that right there. Again, head down, hip in, feet go back, deep tight waist, right hand grab, rubbing those butt cheek on his hamstring. It's not tight. I do this right here, and I drive in to there. Can you move, Hayden? Cannot move. Step over and score. Hey guys, David.
Yes, this works against studs, okay? He's got a collar tie. Now, I cannot do a slide by from this position. His arm is bent. I gotta get his arm straight. I need his arm to be here. To do that, I need to lean back a little bit. I'm gonna step in with my left foot. I'm gonna lean back. As I lean back, I'm going to shrug my shoulder, knock his arm off, and I'm gonna pivot on my right foot. Step in, lean back, pivot. All right, notice. Get a little bit of a shrug here with my shoulder, and I'm knocking him with my forearm. My forearm's going to hit him right above his elbow, right here. I'm not pushing it with my hand. My forearm right here is going to knock his elbow by me. I step in, I lean back, pivot, and I'm knocking him past. Now, I have his collar. It's very simple. I just pull him down from here. Easy, right? Step in, lean back, pivot. Collar tie, elbow bind, both have the same thing. I cannot do a slide by from here. I'm going to see somebody do this. Yeah, right. All right. I'm going to step in. I'm going to lean back. I create a little space. His arm gets straight. Now I can do it I'm gonna knock him past it. I do that, I pivot. I do not change level. I'm not doing this, okay? I'm not doing a quick duck under and then turning. I'm leaning back and I pivot, all right? I should be facing the opposite direction to keep his neck. We can also...
Good. Alright, so we're going to do a drill called spin drill. So basically it's just, you're here in short offense and we're just going to go back and forth and we're going to grab his foot. So you want to have your chest about like right here, like in the upper part of his back, and you want your hips to be down, and you don't want your knees to be on the mat during this drill. So you want to be up off your knees, and you just want to circle and grab his ankle. And go back. So when you do this, you want to go, this is called a short drag. So you're just grabbing his arm in here, and grabbing that, and then you want to do that on both sides. So we're just going back and forth.
A cross wrist. He cannot do one thing until he breaks that cross wrist. And guys, my guys used to be terrible at breaking a cross wrist. Here's what I see a lot of high school guys do. Bryce is going to break me down. He's going to tight waist chop. Bryce is going to fall to his hip. I'm going to fall to my hip. And he's going to come right here to a cross wrist. I see this all the time. Watch how most people react. Here's how most people react in my shoes. So Bryce is on top. He tight waist chops. He falls to his hip. I fall to my hip. He's got the cross wrist right there. Can you guys see that? And here's what most people do in Jeff Jordan shoes. They do the dumbest thing in the world. They take their knees away and they come back. They land right here. And then they try to play this little game where they reach their hand and try to unlock, to try to break that grip that he's got, or try to break the cross wrist. So all I'm saying, guys, I never want to go to my stomach, or he's going to ride me forever. Again, he tight waist chops. When I hit here, here's what everyone does. They take their knees away and they say, I got to base out. When I do that, I promise you, Bryce is going to ride me for a long time. All I'm asking is, first thing you got to do, as soon as he gets that cross wrist, we have to break it. And the only way to break it, Bryce, the only way to break this cross wrist when he has it is I extend my left hand down, just create a little bit of space, and then my right elbow comes in. And then, guys, I shove down, I rip up here. And then, guys, hand way out, elbow in. And guys, I'm not kidding you. We get a lot of inside leg stand-ups from here. Watch what's going to happen. Once he breaks me down and cross wrist, I do not break me down. I do not stop from right here. The last thing in the world I'm going to do is to go down there. Right when we hit, look at my bottom foot. I extend this hand, elbow comes in, I rip it off here. And then, guys, my left hand goes big time that direction. You know what he's going to do, guys? He's got the tight waist. I always do this. I take my right knee and I try to kick myself in the face. He's going to follow, all right. Otherwise, I'll just head Granby out. He's going to follow, and watch how I stand up with this leg. Right knee kicks myself right in the face. I do this right here. As he covers, he drives in, drive in, drive in. It brings me to my feet, and then I cut.
Get out. Tight waist me. Tight waist me. He's here. I've got to shift my hip. And now I've got to fight the pressure. Now I'm going to seal off as I fight. He won't come back inside on this because he's over here trying to drive me back across, right? He's trying to buckle me up. Trying to chop that arm. So he tight waist me. I got to shift to that hip. It's the same as base building drill. Now, watch how I come up and out of there. This partner's got to give me resistance. He's deep. He's trying to go back. We just covered those bars, so our tight waist should be good. And I fight and watch my bottom leg slide, slide, slide. As I slide, what did I do? Huh? I shut the door, right? Just gotta get one sealed off. The door's been shut, and now, keep it shut. Look at his position in tight waist, man. It's a nightmare for people because they just don't understand how to clear it. And now, I gotta have a good partner. There's gonna be two scenarios. Right now, I want your partner to give you the stand-up scenario. He's driving, I gotta be pushing back. Up to her feet, hand control. What am I doing with this hand? Stick in the wallet, boys. Now, don't try to stay on your feet all the time. When I stick it to the wallet, it's much easier to be running my feet, behind me. Oh, let it rest.
I'm going to lean off, he's going to chop, my elbow's going to go down, and my wrist is going to go out. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to this hand's gonna go across, and my right knee is gonna follow where my hand just went. So I'm gonna get my hips back underneath. Now I'm like this. Now we can start fighting. Now that this hand is glued to our hip, right, we can use this left hand to push this down. Once we get elbow scrape, now we can. So it's the same setup as the quad pod. All we're doing differently is we're going here, this hand's gonna come across, and this knee's gonna come across. That's the only difference. Now this left hand pushes this down, right elbow scrapes in. Now we're gonna post on this head. First thing I like to do, if this guy lines up on whichever side he wants to, my first thought is most likely he's gonna want to take me this way, right? He's gonna want to chop me over that arm and grab that wrist, and then we'll start working from there. So when the whistle blows, when I'm on bottom, I try and lean away from that side, right? So all my weight's going this way. If he tries to chop me that way, there's just no weight on that arm for him to chop. Once he figures out, he's gonna still do what his brain tells him to do, which is gonna be to chop me this way. What I like to do is once he starts chopping me, my elbow touches the mat, my wrist, and my hand. It doesn't sit like this. My wrist goes out along with my elbow. So I'm like this, my wrist comes out. Now, if Gray wants to try and go underneath my arm and grab my wrist, he's not able to, just because my wrist is like that. But if I'm like this, and Gray goes under, he's gonna have my wrist. He's gonna probably drive me over that arm again. So off rip, I'm gonna lean off. Once he chops, my elbow hits the mat. My wrist goes out. Now this is where my feet start to move. I'm gonna windshield wiper my feet. This right foot's gonna replace my right hand. It's gonna come all the way up here. And now I'm gonna start wrestling back into Gray. Now once I'm in this quad pod, this left elbow is still gonna be by my hip. And I'm gonna start fighting this hand right here. Once I can take this hand off, I can start sitting in the chair and getting pressure back into him, and then I can hit it. Gray's on top. He lines up on this side. I'm gonna lean off first. So it's like, doop, my whistle goes. I'm here, lean off. He chops, my elbow touches the mat, my wrist goes out. My right leg is gonna replace my right hand, and my right hand's gonna come up, and I'm gonna start wrestling back into Gray. Once I have this here, I'm gonna seal the side that he's on, and I'm gonna start peeling the hand opposite. And I'm gonna start sitting in the chair, get my hips away. You see this space right here? This is what we wanna create when we're on bottom. We don't wanna be like this. Once we're like this, this is where he can start trying to lift me and return me back to the mat. As soon as I get my hips here, he's not gonna be able to lift or return me at all. Now we hip punch. Remember what? Remember the hip punch drill at the beginning? Hit one of those. Any questions? Let's try it. 1, 2. Let's go.
Bottom wrestling, so we're going to show our system there. But guys, we're going to get on top here. I'm going to show you an Easton tilt. We dueled Easton. This was when my dad was the head coach before I got into high school. We dueled Easton, PA, Apple Valley, Minnesota. We also had Seminary, Wyoming Seminary, and we also had Blair. So those are quad. Easton, PA. When my dad went out there with his team, they got this move all the time on us. So then we started drilling it. My younger brother Rocky, who's a 3-time state champ, he wrestles at Ohio State right now. If he gets your wrist, if he gets to this position right here, all right, 90% of the time he's going to get back points off him. His sophomore year in the state, he never had a point scored against him. You'd take his guy down, you'd get the cross wrist and tech everyone, or just ride him, and they couldn't get out. Cross wrist, this is the position I want to get to. My right hand gets to his wrist. My left hand's going to feed his arm, right hand's going to get to his wrist. I don't like grabbing up by his forearm or his elbow. I like to grab by his wrist. His hand catches, I can squeeze it really tight. When I get his wrist, I like to pull it right to his side so he can't dig his elbow and break it. So how do I get to a cross wrist? I'm here, I line up, I tight waist chop with my left arm. Partner, don't have your elbow out. I don't want you to hyperextend your elbow. Tuck your elbows in, keep them bent. I tight waist and chop. Right hand's around his waist,
Left hand's at his elbow. I tight waist chop. I drive him forward. My left arm's gonna feed his left arm to my right hand. From here, I drive, chop, I get to his wrist. Now guys, usually, once I chop him down, he's gonna build back up, right? Now guys, notice what I have here. I have a cross wrist. Left hand is right here on the inside of his elbow. It's just tight. Now from this position, guys, do you guys know who Spencer Lee is? He probably has one of the best Easton tilts around. It's a roll through tilt. We call it an Easton tilt. Cross wrist. I get to this position. My left elbow, key to the move, my left elbow goes inside Gessler's thigh. It's gonna block his hip out when I roll. So I'm here. I know a few, there's a different technique where I shoot my arm through. I don't like to just have one arm on his arm. If my right arm happens to slip off, now I'm on my back, I like to have both hands on his arm. Left arm, my elbow goes inside of his thigh, my head tucks. Then guys, I'm gonna do like a Granby roll. All right, I'm not rolling side to side. I go right over my shoulders. So I'm here, I get my cross wrist, left elbow. Notice, left elbow starts to lead the way, my head leads the way, here. Then guys, as I roll, once I roll, watch my right knee. My right knee is pointing straight to the ceiling. It's gonna catch his hips. It's gonna block him from rolling through. Here, tight waist chop, I get his wrist, left elbow goes in. Watch my right knee. As I go to roll, notice my right knee blocks his hips. He's in the saddle. From here, guys, my left elbow's gonna elevate, or I'm sorry, my left leg's gonna elevate. My left elbow is to my thigh. I'm really tight here. Turn this way. If my left elbow, all right, is not on my thigh, what can happen? Gessler can pull his left leg through, and he can get back to his base. So guys, initial, right off the move, the Easton, my left elbow goes inside of his thigh. It stays there. It keeps his hip trapped. Tight waist chop. I get his wrist. He builds back up. Here. I have an angle on my partner. My left shoulder is going to the mat. I do like a Granby. Watch my right leg. Right leg has to block his hips. Here. If my leg is down, he can roll through. Right leg blocks his hip. Left leg is up. My left elbow's tight. I have.
First one we'll do, we'll just do nice and easy. All right, we're gonna go bump him forward, get all his weight on his hands, and we're gonna go spiral right to the left and catch his ear wrist. All right, so here, bump him forward, lots of weight on his hands. All right, now left hand's inside chop, right hand pull at his thigh, get him to his shoulder, into this near wrist, just like this. All right, from here, while he's up, my right hand is gonna come under, get to the claw. I'd also probably jump sides here. Get to my claw, and then I want to break him down to his stomach first. Alright, so I bump him forward, break him down to his stomach. Now I'm going to start to run it. Alright, so I'm going to take him to the left. I always take him the same side as the wrist. Alright, so I have the left wrist. I'm going to run my feet. Alright, 3 big steps. 1, 2, 3. Alright, I'm on my head. Now I take him to the left. Pinch. Alright, pinch my knees. Hold on to his wrist. Keep the claw nice and tight. All right, look at my claw here. It's on the back of his neck. All right, it's not on his shoulder, back of his neck. Again. All right, there's lots of ways you guys get to the wrist. All right, let's play around with this one. We bump him forward, bump him, stop. All right, if he's still on his base here, I can pull his hip, put him to his hip, right hand, come under to my claw. All right, bump him forward first. All right, now I'm going to take him. All right, run my feet though. It's very tempting to just try to tilt, right? But it'll be hard to score your backwards. I need to run my feet, right? 1, 2, 3, nice and high. Now I fall in. Okay, try to get kind of fight away, right? It's too tight here. All right, so very important, most important. But really, really important, I bump them forward, right? I always stop this first move, and then I'm going to that deep tight waist. All right, so here, bump them forward, tight waist, big chop. Gets my arm bar. Now, my right hand is underneath, catches the wrist. Alright, jump sides, lift, put him on my knee, fall backwards, get to my reinforced arm bar tilt. Alright, so one more time, bumping him forward, stop his first move, tight waist, chop. Get to my arm bar, get to the wrist, out, lift, take him over for my tilt. The second way, right, this is for you guys that like rolling under, for that roll under tilt. Alright, before I roll under, I'm going to dig my fingers kind of up into his bicep. Alright, so same thing, chop. This time I get to the wrist. Alright, and I'm going to start to dig my fingers underneath the bicep. Now, it's going to be tough for me to just go here, arm bar. That'd be easy. That'd be probably pretty tough. So as I start to roll, I'm fighting my hands, and roll. Get my arm bar. Now I'm starting to keep trying to roll. Alright. Nice and tight. Reinforce on the line. Alright, so if you like getting tight waist chop, getting to the arm bar first, alright, then you just get to the wrist, jump sides, take them over. If you like rolling under, you can fight for that arm bar while you're rolling. Alright? Get to the wrist, roll under, fight for it, got it. Alright, questions on that? Yes, either one. So I want the end move to be the reinforced arm bar. Alright? Wrist, arm bar, tilt. Alright? But, two different ways I like getting there. Chop, getting that arm bar right away. Tight waist, get to the wrist, go. And the second way, rolling under. Alright? Rolling under, fighting really hard while you're rolling. Alright? Let's try it. 1, 2, 3.